question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
So if you say that the three that are listed below in accordance with apply to the on-call vehicles, the farm vehicles, or providing a service, you're almost nullifying each one of those. That you're going to say that somebody works for the municipality or works for the oil company or the water company because they don't own and operate that vehicle, they can't park it there. It seems to me that's not what they're talking about. When they say in accordance with above three exceptions shall apply, I interpret that as saying in accordance with the commercially operated vehicles of 19,500 pounds or greater, because you can't apply it to the other ones without nullifying them. Then it also goes on to say the commercial vehicle must be operated by, that's what I said. And the number of trips permitted in a 24-hour period is 6, which means no more than 3 round trips to the residential home. Well, Mr. Marzullo, if I'm installing your septic system, which allows me to do it with the service related to your site, certainly you're not going to only allow me to haul 3 loads of septic sand per day to your home, because it's going to take a heck of a lot longer and cost a lot more money. So that doesn't fit with what he's calling above with those exemptions. So I see those as a complete separate set of exemptions, as did Ms. Nelson when she was our zoning enforcement officer. And then as far as 6.19, use of home for personal business, the only thing that they see is those vehicles outside, which are allowed under 6.20. So I submit to Mr. Perkins that if I was in accordance with 6.20 through the interpretation of that regulation, that would bring me in accordance with 6.19.
I tried to run a ship properly with a book, but they fought me at every turn. But I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt and with geometric logic.
Can I address his issue to him? It's kind
to all of us, please.
To all of you, okay?
We're speaking to
In construction, every construction company has a laydown yard. Mr. Truskauskas does not have one. His house is his laydown yard. You can't effectively run a construction company without a laydown yard. You have to bring your plate compactors, you have to bring your rollers, your excavators, your backhoes. In between jobs, if you're not using it at somebody's house, if you're doing residential or commercial, you leave it on a job when you're doing a job. In between jobs, things go back to your laydown yard. That's where they get worked on. That's the garage. Okay? Mr. Truskauskas, I believe, strongly, his laydown yard is 99 Scoville Hill Road, his home. Okay? You have many complaints. He was, I think there was a judgment against him in 2004 on Bull Road. He pulled all his equipment out of Bull Road. Now it's at 99 Scoville Hill Road. We all know this. I'd like to ask Mr. Truskauskas to do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
Right now we have to deal with the facts. And the facts of the matter are presented by our CEO. His recommendation is how we have to act.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, it's the right thing. I'm just trying to, we were talking before, and you were kind of saying, well, it's kind of gray, I don't know. You know, I'm just stating some facts from an expert position, okay? This is what I do for a living. All right, so I'd just like to say, this judgment, I don't know if it was useful at all, but I just wanted to clarify some things.
Certainly.
Yes, this is public comment, and I appreciate the information, and it explains a lot, which I might not have known, because I've been hearing the complaints since 2007, since I've been on the board.
And it makes been a long haul for a lot of people.
Right, I know what Karen Nelson went through, and what the neighbors have been going through for years, and there's certainly
we're trying to find a road through
to me.
The nepotism.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Right.
We're trying to find a path for people to do the right thing.
Right.
Strongly investigate this. Get the nepotism out of Harwinton. You know.
Right.
It's a great job.
We need some teeth, and because people need to have faith in that we're going to do the right thing.
It's hard to have faith right now for
right.
a lot of people. And we're just being a voice for them. That's all.
I believe you are doing the right thing.
Just a couple
Thank you,
things.
sure.
As for Mr. Perkins, thank you. That equipment that you're asking about, the farm equipment, it belongs to the construction company. It doesn't belong to the farm. It's not listed on the schedule for farm equipment. If it was, it would be listed as farm equipment. He uses that for his business, okay, so
I
that's
can't
construction.
prove that though, so.
Well, you can prove it. You can pull the card, the assessor card. You can go UPC, you can go State of Connecticut. There's a ton of ways to prove it. Who that owns that equipment.
Okay.
All right.
So we should do that for everybody that has equipment on their property.
Just
Such
do
as
your,
excavators, bulldozers, backhoes, they're all over town. We do that for everybody.
I think because there's a complaint about it, that's why we would research what the issues are.
I just
We
feel like
have
we're
to,
gonna,
we have to act on complaints where, if there's complaints, we have to address them and find out if there's validity. If there's validity, we have to act on them. That's the order that we have to do.
Right.
so here's where we're at. We've done all the research. All those complaints that are here, you have a history of them, okay? Now, you're just looking at the one today, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, you want to just look at that one, that's fine. But you know what? I think that's unfair. These people have been living this. He's a gentleman because he's handled himself well, but believe me, he's not really saying what he wants to say. Is it in the sense that he's been going through hell along with the rest of the neighbors, okay? They're just looking for peace. You know, Joe, like you have at your house, like I have at my home, he's just looking for the same thing we have,
Sure.
okay?
Understood.
All right, he doesn't want him to run a construction company out of his home, okay? Now, he'll sit there and say to you, well, listen, this week I brought in, I did some work on my thing. That's what we're doing this week. So what, if that's the case then, this guy's gotta write a letter every day, okay? The truck was there last night. Gotta write a letter every day? I mean, do you think that's sort of ridiculous? I think that's ridiculous. He filed a complaint, he filed another one, okay? And you have no idea, because he hasn't said yet, what's going on over there, okay? Such as police and everything else being in that neighborhood. Okay, there's a lot going on there, all right? The job of this board is to turn around and enforce the regulations that are placed by this stuff.
We are.
Zoning officer, turn around, went out and cite them. I will question the fine. I believe you're allowed to levy that fine. And if he wins an appeal, he doesn't have to pay. But I believe you're allowed to levy that fine every day that that truck's on the property. I believe that's the correct way. But, again, that's a question for Attorney Riley. I think that's going to pull more weight. I just want to see, even though Don Truskauskas is the temporary chairman there, he lives by the same rules. Nobody's above the law in this time. All right? I'm asking him to do exactly what everyone else is supposed to do. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. And he's been trying to skirt the whole thing, work his way around it, turn around, bring this up, and we can sit there and go through 6.20, but actually, the intent, and you were there when they wrote that regulation, when they rewrote it, it's the intent of what that regulation meant, which is very important, especially in law. When they wrote that regulation, it was the intent of what they wanted it to do. Okay? He could sit there and try to explain what he thinks the intent is, but you were there, and you know what the intent was. And there's other people that were on the board at that time. If this was a court case, would be called in and they would ask him, what was your intent of doing that? Okay? And it wasn't what he thinks it is. That's it.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Sabrina Janko, 95 Canfield Hill Road. This will be short. I've been in this town since 1966, and this disgusts me. That's all I'll say.